it's weird how people, but I think anything new, people kind of get fearful, right? And so once again, going back to the whole, it's not there yet. And the people who are really leveraging it is the people who actually have the conversations with AI, right? So what happens is, going back to the graphic designers, they'll, or the people who want to be graphic designers, they use the tool. They say, give me a picture of a flower inside, like in the jungle, and it looks mediocre, right? And it's like, oh, AI can't do anything. Well, you have to have a whole conversation
Right.
with it. Okay,
Right.
no, add raindrops to it, and then the raindrops actually magnifying it with the, the 85 lens and things like that. Only language that particular photographers and graphic designers would really know if they tap into it. But instead of having those one piece conversations, I got to have a 15 to 30-minute conversation with AI. I got to really tap into it more to get into that, and then they will see, oh, okay, I see what Keys and Nikki is talking about as far as this being a tool. I'm using it wrong, right? And that's the
Mm-hmm.
only thing, is that people will use it wrong, judge it, and go, nah, AI is just taking whatever, they're just taking our information, where the thing we bring in is feelings. The thing we bring in is our mind, as far
Right.
as saying, okay, I want it to look this way. You have the facts based off all the different images and everything that's on Google and everything that's on the web and what we've already inputted. But the way that I want it is going to be a little bit different. And so let's have this conversation. And that's why our one-on-one pieces, when it comes to either copy, when it comes either to video, when it comes either to images, then it looks completely different. And that's why we can't really duplicate when we see all these AI images, such as the things even that's coming out with Sora. It's like, yo, how do I do that? If I was to take that same prompt, it won't look like that. I gotta
Right.
now put this, I gotta put my own swag to it. But that's what people don't get. It's like, okay, now it's becoming a copy and paste situation. No, it's not,
Yeah.
because you won't get the same image.
And I see the one thing is the reliance on it. AI is not supposed to inform you what to do. You're supposed to inform it. And so that's where, you can start limiting your own intelligence when you start to operate in that manner.
Hmm.
Right? I was listening to I'm trying to remember the doctor name. I forget his name, but he was speaking on how when human beings move out of the cities, right, into move out of nature into the cities, we
Hmm.
start losing some of our intelligences, like sound intelligence and color intelligence,
Yep.
because we were not observing and being in those environments anymore, where we would watch the leaves turn from brown to green or green to brown, and we would notice all of those different effects, and we will visually be tapped into the different colors and stimulated by those things around us, and it formed our expressions as human beings. But now we're so much caught up in the phone,
Yeah.
all of those different type of intelligence, even memory intelligence of, we don't store our memories inside our head, we store them in our phone.
Right.
So we already cyborgs connected to machines, and it limits your human faculties. I
Hmm.
don't want people to become less human. I want you to become more human and free up the time that you have to do these machine like things, so you stop operating like that, and you are now in the mind and the imagination and the creative self. So it's
Hmm.
like, there's so many different applications I want to create, but I don't want to learn Python. I don't want to learn coding.
I'm
I'd
not
rather
trying
the
to learn
code be
coding at
the
all.
English language, and then on the back end, let the machine create. So
Hmm.
when before, now everybody's calling it AI, but it was generative design was the term at first.
Hmm.
To where designers and engineers was already operating with machines, right, to get out the best ways to let's say create materials and in architecture and things of that nature, to where the machine was able to come up with all of these different ways where things could be done in like CAD design. But now everybody's saying AI, which is, I think, an oversimplified way to even express what the actual thing is, because
Hmm.
everything is not just artificial intelligence. That's an embedded aspect of the technology. We don't call social media AI, but there's AI in the algorithms, right?
Yeah. The
Siri
the
is
the
AI, but we don't call it.
the
It's
overuse of AI
yeah,
is starting to get disgusting.
it's
It's
not the
crazy.
AI that people have a problem. It's the name AI
Hmm.
and the connotation attached to it, because everybody uses AI because you use your phone.
Well, how do you feel about, so like, we look at a meta AI. and we look at how some of these social media platforms are integrating AI, but it really hasn't taken, I don't know, like the commercial stance of like a Mid Journey or a Chat GPT. Like, what do you feel is like, should the social media platforms just stay in their lane, like how Elon is creating Gronk and like all those? Should social media platforms just stay in their lane, or should they find a different way of utilizing it?
I think they should find ways to enhance the original experience,
Mm-hmm.
right? I think it's very easy ways that Instagram could be able to implement artificial intelligence to make the experience better.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is that it becomes profit driven. It's not people driven, right? So they're not really trying to enhance the experience for you to make money as a creator and things of that nature,
Mm-hmm.
right? They want to keep you on as a product
Yeah.
so that they can continue to make money off of you. So
Yeah.
this is why they're not really creating tools that seem like common sense to us, right? Because it's not really for you, it's for their bottom line, right?
Right.
So, I like tools like Mid Journey, and Mid Journey, I'm sure is going to transform into a completely different business in the next year or so because they got a lot of data, and I'm sure their upgrades are going to be insane,
Right.
just in a minute. But it's like with all of these different tools and all these different platforms, I think what the main important thing as the user, you have to focus on how you're going to utilize these tools to create a better community experience for your platform as a creator, right? Because the follower button was powerful, but we just seen the CEO said that it's not about followers,
Absolutely not.
right? And they trying to pay people to post pictures on here because they want a more authentic feel. That's what they want, right?
Well,
But that
they
authenticity
messed
has
that up.
died out.
They
They
messed that
messed
up.
it up
Yeah, they
100%.
messed that up.
Like it's you should not have to fight to get your followers attention because there's consistent algorithmic changes that's going on in the back end. So now it's harder as a creative to make a living, and so the burnout comes from, okay, I'm doing the same thing
Hmm.
and maybe I'm doing even 10 times more, but I'm getting 10 times less the results. So it's kind of like you're giving and then you're not receiving, so there's no reciprocity, so you get burnt out from that.
That's a
There's
fact.
no burnout when you give and you receive. There's balance.
That's a fact.
But the burnout happen is because the creator is not getting anything back anymore. You know what I'm saying? And they're constantly putting in more and more work and it should have had this compound interest over years where you grew this amazing
Hmm.
thing and they saying, nope, we're gonna start you over from the beginning again. They don't care if you just put 10 years in. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna change that in the blink of an eye. And so as a creator, it's like, how can you build something sustainable if you can't control anything? And no, that's why I'm saying the connection with the community is the key, right? So that you build more depth relationships. And if you're utilizing the tools, that's just to get the ideas done that you need to so you can spend more time on the depth of the relationships you have with your community.
And there should be transition time. Like, so you brought up a really good point as far as with like I feel for, let's say, the photographers. I feel for the poets. I feel for those people who were just Instagram started as a photo app,
Mm-hmm.
right? It wasn't a video driven situation until TikTok really got into the situation, and then they were like, I still want to stay number one, right? And so when they crossed over to Reels, there was no transition time. It was, you do Reels or we're not giving you no kind of exposure in one shape or form, right? And so now there was a educational gap of, okay, what do I have to do for if I'm not the camera front facing person and I'm only taking photos or I'm written, like what am I supposed to do with Reels? Once they figured it out, Meta was like, nope, we're going back to photos or we doing
Yeah.
something else. I'm not even going to tell you what we're doing. Now the thing is you have to experiment. That's what my man just said recently of like, it's not, we understand that the reach is a problem, but you have to continue to experiment. And you're not allowing the people to understand the platform anymore. And that's the problem that I have with social media and for like I have a heart for creators with this is because they have their art in their natural way of showing it. And then here you go on a platform that you continuously have to play the platform game to be
Right.
seen. and I get it. For a certain amount of time, play the game. We have, if we're on rented territory, play the game. Understand the different tools and the resources that will allow you to amplify on that. Great. But then when you play the game, then what's the audience want? What do you want? Right? And it doesn't, where the state of meta is at this moment, it won't even allow you to play that type of game. You
Nah,
continuously have to play the platform game.
and that sucks because what you're doing is you mess with people's livelihood in all reality, because people are building bases, platforms, being able to directly connect their art to consumers so that they can make a living.
Yep.
And every time you switch something up, now they're fearful of them being able to pay rent, right? And so now you can't build a consistent lifestyle because you don't have sustainable income, and not because you're not doing good as an artist, you're not creating good art, you're not running your business well, because the platform that helped build your business is constantly switching up and playing the game. So
Hmm.
I think that's the dangerous thing. And so, yeah, you can build an app, but every app is going to require growth. It's still going to require
Yes.
community. It's still going to require connection.